And welcome back to the Business Spotlight. I'm Patrick Dougher. We're finishing a special event today with the relaunch of the Business Spotlight in the DFW area. The show will air weekly. Every week we'll be bringing new guests to share ideas, tools, tips, best practices from authors, speakers, founders, CEO of companies in the DFW area especially, but I know that we'll have people flying in from around the country. And the one thing we want to do is create an even more, I don't want to say reactive, responsive? Or
interactive.
Interactive, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Luis Estrada is on this segment. And Luis, what are some of the predictions that you have for media? You have seen media go from, it expanded in its audience for up to 50 years, and then about 3 years ago it started to contract. What's happening?
Well, it's really not contracting. What's happening is it's getting diluted.
Yeah.
Because if you look back at the 1950s and you had, one or two channels or three channels, and most televisions weren't even on until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they started running cartoons. And as you go through the 70s and all that, a lot of people were loyal to certain networks.
Right.
So if you were an ABC guy, it's kind of like if you're a Chevy guy or a Ford guy, it was ABC, NBC, or CBS, and then usually had a couple of, depending on your market, a couple of independent stations, and if you were lucky, a Spanish station. So, but now what's happened is with cable came in. Well, cable, Ted's idea was it's like a magazine rack. Right? So now cable's going to give you just cars, it's going to give you just cartoons, it's going to give you this. Well, now, but you still had to go somewhere. You still had to go to that channel to get what you wanted.
You had to rent the attention.
Exactly.
And you got less commercials.
And you got less commercials back then.
Right.
So now what's happened is you're in fully control of your entertainment. I mean, that's evolved where people now aren't loyal to networks. They're loyal to shows.
Right.
That's why you see Law and Order all over the place, because people love Law and Order. And so now what's even happened is you don't have to switch around and we're going to go to USA Network or TNT or wherever to get Law and Order. Now, with Netflix and everything else, guess what? You have control when you watch it, how you watch it, stop, go. You can watch
as many as you want. You can watch them back to back. It's the podcast model, so to speak, where everything's on demand anyways.
Right, because what the consumer wants is full control of their time. Full control, and that's what we've gotten now.
Right.
We've gotten that. But
where do you see it going, though?
But see, now, well, the issue with marketers today, to get a little bit into what the show's about and getting people here, is that you have to cut through that clutter, and that clutter is even bigger now. Because whatever your product or service is, you've got to have that media mix. I mean, you could still do traditional things depending on your budget. You can still do billboards and print and that kind of thing. But if you're not on social media, if you're not doing PR like Mark said, you're not going to reach the same because people aren't going to print as much. People aren't going to those places. You've got to find those people, and guess where they are? They're on the internet.
Well, the other thing about it, though, and this is something that Kathy said that I thought was excellent, is that real and authentic is becoming a big deal.
Yes.
People know that anybody can sit behind a mic and in front of a camera, and they're an actor. But if we bring real and authentic content that shines a light on exactly who the person is at their core and as the good person that they really are, now all of a sudden we've engaged somebody. But I know that part of my prediction is that it'll get even more engaging. Stuff like this will go on live on Facebook, live on Ustream or whatever. People will be able to give feedback and questions.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen it in some of the sports things already, haven't you, where they're like watching their Twitter feed or whatever?
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, they're watching the Twitter. A lot of the American Idol shows and all those kind of shows, those contest shows, will do that, and that's just it. Again, you have to think about the consumer, and as we talk about people wanting to come on the show, that person has to be sincere. They need to be passionate about their project. Like she was saying, you need to drink your Kool-Aid. If you're in that business and if you own your own business, you're doing it 20 hours a day. You gotta make sure that the person on the other side of the camera, that consumer, that client, that person gets that you're as passionate about what you're doing, and you're gonna do that for them.
If you were telling the audience who to be on the show, you've seen it develop we have a synergy between the two of us, media, online. In a minute or so, what would you tell them?
What would I tell the audience? Well, I mean, really, it's open to everyone. I mean, you could have a retail, you could have a service, you could have a. The biggest key is that with this medium, what happens is you become the expert, and television video is very, very powerful. And if you are passionate about what you do, then what's going to happen is you're going to portray that to the audience. And if I'm in need of something, and say, you know, even legal services or, you know, social media marketing, and I see somebody on the show, I'm going to go, wait a second, that guy's passionate, that guy knows what it, or him or her, and I want to work with them. I want them to help me because I have a need. And so I think that's what I would tell people that want to be on the show. Is that, like, if you want to tell your story and you want to get more clients, this is a very powerful way to do it. And it's not one-dimensional, it's a mix.
That's really good. I know that as we go into this new format every week, bringing you more value, special guests that have a tool, a talent, a trade to offer into the marketplace as a whole. You can call me, my number's on the screen, visit our website. The idea about media is this: it gives you the ability to tell your story and have the authority of someone that is an expert, because let's face it, we all grew up on TV. You see somebody on TV that you're sitting there going, they must be the obvious expert. I'm Pat Dougher. I want to interview you if you're a leader and really have a story to tell. This is the Business Spotlight, where you get to tell your story and make a difference in your marketplace. We'll talk to you all next week. Thanks again.